What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everyone to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with James Haskell. I take your name, Jimbo. What's going on here? But in this episode, we're here to talk about the newest a tweet that is predicting that Todd Gurley will be signing with the Baltimore Ravens in the upcoming. The validity of this tweet, I will say that the account that put this out is known as, NFL Update is the account that tweeted this out.
NFL Update 247 is the @.
Yes, it says that he's expected to sign with the Ravens in the upcoming week. So we wanted to discuss what that means for the current members of the team. Does that get you excited? Why are the Ravens, who already have a pretty good 1-2 punch there, maybe one of the best in the entire league, why are they signing Todd Gurley? So we're going to get into that. So Jimmy, let's just start off. Here's how I want to start this. When you hear Todd Gurley is coming into town, I mean, does this make you think, like, when we just talk about who's currently here, we got Gus, JK, and Hill as the main three. We have a couple other guys who are long shots to make the team. Does this make you think that there's some doubts on those three, maybe just one of those three? What's your thoughts on how that impacts the room?
Yeah, good question there. I think it's all about. So I don't think there's any doubt in JK. I don't think, obviously, they just paid Gus. Yeah. And so I think it's all about Justice Hill and his ability to carry the bag and carry the ball if one of these guys goes down. I think it's just the Ravens doubling down on what they're best at. You know, everyone talks about taking your weaknesses and making them better. There's also another methodology where a lot of people say, well, just forget about, like, your weaknesses are going to be weaknesses. Why work hard to make them mediocre when you can take what you're already excellent at and just, dramatically continue to improve upon that. And so I think the Ravens just staying true to, this is a move, if it happens, of course, them staying true to who they are, realizing it's going to be a longer season, realizing we're still going to win football games by time of possession, running the football. And so, yeah, I think it's about the ability or the lack of confidence in the ability of Justice Hill to get it done if Gus or JK, heaven forbid, tweak an ankle, go out for the season, something like that. Because then we're in a tough situation as far as running the football, if it's only going to be one of those guys. Not an impossible situation, just not an advantageous situation. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think obviously there's no doubt of the first two, but I think this is a reflection on what they've seen from Justice Hill. I don't think they're thrilled at the possibility of him having to be relied upon if one of the other two were to go down for an extended period of time. They don't like what they see out of him. And so this is an insurance policy. And what's interesting about Todd Gurley is it shocking when I say that he's only 26 years old?
It is. He's aging in dog years officially.
It's absolutely
it's unfortunate, right?
And then when you talk about, you think about, man, he's missed a ton of games, right? Well, he's been in the league 6 years, which means he could have played a possible 96 regular season games. He's played in 88 of those possible 96 games. So he's missed just 8 games in his career. And I think one of those 8 games was just rest because they had already clinched a couple years ago. So he's missed 7 games due to health in his entire career. I mean, that's really not that bad. Now, he's missed a ton of practice time because of those nursing some injuries, but ultimately he normally suits up on game day. So you can kind of count on him. I mean, right? I mean, he played in the last 2 years. He's only missed 2 games.
Right. No, I'm with you 100%. I think he's certainly someone. That's the thing. He's someone that can be counted on. He's been there, done that. I mean, obviously, he really has carried his team to a Super Bowl. We saw what Goff is. I think he kind of got exposed in McVay having zero trust in him. And so certainly he was the catalyst to that offense that went to Super Bowl. And I think they were 13-3 that year.
Something like that, yeah.
Or I guess they lost Super Bowl 13-3. So I don't know if that was the record, but I think that was or 10-3 was the Super Bowl score. Whatever. I think they were 13-3. That's right. But the point being that he's been there, he's done that. At his worst, he's better than Justice Hill at his best. That's just what it is at the end of the day. And then on top of that, he's a versatile player. Look, I said this, I think the first time we heard these reports, and this makes me think of the Ricky Williams coming out of retirement. You know, he was a Rastafarian for a while. He probably is still a Rastafarian, but he was living in a tent, doing his thing, living life, all those things aside. You know what? I miss smashing heads with people. I'm going to come back. And he came back and Ricky had some good, he had at least one good year that I can think of. How many years was he here? Was it 2?
I think he was here for 2 years. Yeah.
But either way, he was relatively productive and way more productive than people thought he was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And so being that, I think the Ravens have done this a few times, it kind of helped guys resurrect their career. I think that Gurley has taken a sharp right turn to his career, and he's young enough to where I think he thinks that if he can invest in himself this year, put himself in a good position, he can get, Gus type plus money in the following year if he can show that his knees can hang. Right. Yeah. And I think this is the best place to do it. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Absolutely. Why not go to the best running team in history? And you go to a place where you're not going to be expected to be a bell cow. You're not going to be relied upon to carry the load. He's just a complimentary piece. So
don't you think he's a nice mixture? He's kind of a mix between the two. Like if the spectrum of running backs is Gus and JK, he's kind of in the middle somewhere as far as his abilities. Not that he's not, an incredible athlete, but certainly as far as his style is, I guess what I should say, not abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned he's a versatile guy. I mean, this is a guy who's caught 64 balls in 1 year. I mean, this is a guy who can do it through the air as well as on the ground. So why not bring a guy like, they talk about you want to get better and better every day. Well, does Todd Gurley make you better? Absolutely. He certainly doesn't make you worse. I mean, if you're comparing him to who's lower on the depth chart, is he better than Tyson Williams? I mean, yeah. Is he better than Justice Hill? I mean, they talk about Justice Hill and they always reference the home run speed. He's got the breakaway speed. Where has he ever shown that breakaway speed since he's been in the league? I haven't seen it. I mean, I know that if you look back at his college tape, you might be able to find some stuff. But if you look at any of the members in the NFL's college tape, you're going to see some impressive tape because they were playing in college and not in the highest level. So I don't understand that. When I look at Justice Hill's numbers, I mean, they're pedestrian at best. The guy's averaged 4.1 for his career. And really, what's more striking is the lack of trust. He went from 58 carries in 2019 to 12 in 2020. He went from 15 targets through the air to 5 through the air in 2020. He went from 8 catches to 5. So obviously the coaching staff is showing less and less confidence in him because you're minimizing his workload by a massive amount. So if they liked him and they were confident in him, you'd think at least his workload would have remained similar, if not increased. And the fact that it was a fifth of what it was, Jimbo, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, no. And I know that a lot of people talk about, he hasn't gotten a lot of at bats, but like you said, the biggest indicator to me is the fact that it's trending in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he hasn't, I mean, I don't know how else to put this. I don't know if he's earned more reps, right? Like, and you can only do that when the coach has got their eyes on you in practice and things like that. So certainly it's interesting there. I mean, yeah, I would embrace Todd Gurley coming in at the right deal. I think that the way he's looking at this, if he's being strategic, he's thinking, this year is all about investing in himself. Mm-hmm. Even if he makes no money after like expenses and whatever, it's about hitting it the following year. So to me, I think it's a nice intersection between what the Ravens can provide and the value that he brings to the team. Give him a chance to play for a contender, be on 5, nationally televised games, go to the postseason most likely, knock on wood. And, in all the above, play with a dynamic quarterback in the best running game in history. So,
and let's remember, Jimbo, 2019, Mark Ingram went down at the most pivotal time of the year, and it had a massive, effect on the playoff game plan. I mean, it was devastating. So now if you're able to have a guy like Todd Gurley, keep him involved somewhat throughout the season, but as long as those top 2 guys are going and doing their thing, he's not going to get a ton of carries. Keep him healthy. Allow him to learn the offense throughout this, the training camp, but also throughout the entire regular season. And then if that injury bug does strike again, heading into the playoffs, you got a fresh Todd Gurley who can come in and at least get him a couple games, or who knows, if he stays healthy throughout, he can get you all the way. I mean, you just never know what's going to be needed at that point in the year, especially when you're adding a 17th game to the season. And there's that opportunity every time a guy's got a ball in his hands that something bad could happen. So why not add more talent to this team? I think it's a win-win for both. And obviously, Gurley being able to come back home to Baltimore, play on the best running team in the history of the league. It's a win-win, and why not? So I'm hopeful, but it has to be at the right price. I don't want it to be, and I expect it to be at the right price. I don't want this to be something where if we bring him in, that means we can't add to the pass rush. That means we can't add to, because there's still going to need to be some flexibility in the case of injury. In the case, you just never know what can happen throughout a season. So as long as they get him at the right price, 100% A+, please go do it, Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are. It's certainly an intriguing idea. A lot of people think that he's really injury prone, but like you said, Glenn, it's more about his play decline, less about the games that he's missed. Yeah. So let us know your thoughts. Do you think it's a worth a signing worth executing for the Ravens? Do you think that he has any impact? Does it move the needle? All your thoughts below. We'll talk to you guys soon.